Hello.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Pretty good, and you?
Not bad. Not bad. Have a lot of wires and stuff all over me, but
Okay.
you know, aha, Barry's here.
Okay.
Haven't seen Barry in a while. What's going on, Barry?
He's on mute.
He is on mute. He's always on mute. I don't know.
Okay. Can you hear
Barry.
me okay?
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. Barry. Weird. I wonder if he did like you do, come in a little early and then wander away from the computer.
Well,
Ah,
maybe he decided to take a nap.
maybe. Oh, he disappeared. He's clearly having an issue somewhere.
Okay.
Anything new?
Uh, Not a fan. My wife came back from California yesterday, and she's reacclimating herself to Ohio. But and my daughter went off to study for her finals. So I think finals are all next week for her. And then after that, they're taking off for a multi-week vacation.
Ah,
So up into Canada, they're going to go up and, uh, I guess, get closer to the wildfires. But they've been planning this for quite a while now, so they're going to take 2 weeks in eastern Canada.
okay. Let's see. Barry came back. Let's see if Barry's around.
What are we talking about, Barry?
Yeah,
Hi there, Barry.
we're talking about you.
Greetings, peoples.
Anything new going on?
Not drastically. Getting ticked off at my computers. That's probably really not new.
They are
You got kicked
computers.
off?
No, the stupid thing. So I got like 5 computers hooked up to these 2 monitors, and I don't bother toggling the like. If you do like a KVM switch, it slams them all onto one and then flops it back. So I like a toggle with the buttons for the inputs on the other monitor, and so everything I open on this stupid computer 90% of the time pops up on the monitor I'm not using. So, and I did the like Windows shift left arrow to toggle it over here, then it minimized, and then I couldn't re-maximize it. And when I did re-maximize it, I guess it kept going back to the other window after I put in the passcode. So I had no window to control Zoom. So
Okay.
it's,
Computers. Gotta
yeah.
love them.
Oh no, I'm so sick of. What I really need to do is get off this old damn computer and or put it down to one monitor. But there's got like 500 freaking icons on the desktop, so when I do work
So,
on it, I need the screen real estate. I just
Get rid of some of the icons.
well that
so what OS are you using?
this box is Windows 10. The
Oh,
but it's
well,
been my staple computer since whenever I built it, and it's like I'm having a really hard time moving off of it because it's like everything's on it, everything works. But I mean, it won't run 11, it won't do this, and it won't do that. And it's like, well, but it does 99% of what I need it to do. And I hate I half of the stuff I do, I don't want on my new box. Like, I don't want Facebook monitoring everything I do. I don't want, this doing it, Google tracking everything I do. And um, ignorance is bliss. And I've learned too much, and now it's gotten really bad.
Yeah. And if you've got LG monitors, they install spyware on you now.
Oh yeah, well that's all my stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
got cameras in them now. They film your room and everything.
Yeah, they're so you could buy an LG monitor relatively inexpensive, I guess, but they install spyware and pop-ups, ad pop-ups. When you go in and as soon as you plug your monitor into a Windows 10 or 11 machine, it'll install the
Software.
software.
Oh
So,
yeah, buddy
and
bought one of those. What's those funky monitors? The Geo. He got the smaller one that's only like $800 or something, but like the really huge one they have at Micro Center for like 2 or 3 grand, they're like $2,700 or whatever.
yeah,
It's like the mini version of that. Oh, It getting it to boot to where we could install his new computer was absurd because the monitor had to update the firmware before it would let us have video, and somehow it got out onto the internet on his network through, I don't know if it was just a computer jacked into it or if it joined the Wi-Fi or how it got out, but it got out and did a firmware update before we had anything working.
that's wild.
Yeah, it was kind of disturbing, really.
That's wild. Yeah. So, what was it? Those LGs. Yeah, I don't know. You know how when you install software with Windows, it usually pops up and says, "Do you want to do this or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
Those LGs don't do that. They
Yeah.
bypass that completely.
Oh yeah.
So you get all your tracking and all your other stuff.
They
So
paid Microsoft probably for Microsoft background update access and tie right in and feed all the information back to Microsoft
or they build
as
it.
a
Well, yeah,
sidekick.
yeah. I'm sure Microsoft is getting something, but or they build it in as like a driver.
The I was tinkering with some software the other day for security packet sniffing or something. I kept seeing all this traffic for like 192.168.7, and I'm like, dude, I don't run .7 on anything here. And I asked AI about it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Samsung's back channel for communications for Samsung devices. So it was the living room television broadcasting across my networks, looking for other devices to tie into the phone home and to do the what is that Samsung's like slide where you can like take stuff on your phone and sling it to the television.
Oh, like
Oh.
the casting
Yeah,
deal.
casting. So that's like Samsung's casting IP range.
I
Trying to
was
see your shirt there, Mike, and you're okay.
I was I was watching YouTube the other day and I lost network connection completely. and all of a sudden I get a pop-up from YouTube that says, I want to access your local network, and I'm like, what? So I asked AI what that was all about, and basically it's YouTube looking for another route to the internet, and I'm like, but it shouldn't be able to do
I was
that.
gonna say that sounds more like a virus to me than a
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
I
a
said
spam page intercepted and add on.
Google's own AI, Gemini, even said disable it. It's not good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Chrome's trying to find a way to report you.
Yeah, that's exactly what pretty much what it said. Chrome was trying to do something, and I don't use Chrome, but I use a Chrome-based browser, so
Yeah.
that's what it was. It was Chrome trying to do something, and Gemini said disable it. You don't want to do that. Yep. Okay. Good enough for me.
Can we use your local address and local banking information?
Oh, I had never seen it pop up and do that before, so I wonder how many times it had been doing that in the background before the last
Trump showed up.
the last update to the browser.
It was probably trying to phone around and see what, tie your phone to your login and everything.
Wow. Yeah,
It's getting stupid.
it was trying something. It wanted to know how many computers were on the network and the whole 9 yards. And
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
I was to say I haven't gotten around to building it yet, but that's what the initial plan basically is. Everything's going to be a virtual machine in the near future in the world of email and Facebook, and each one's going to have its own little like 8 meg or 8 gig disk or LXC container. This one just does Facebook on its own little thing and can only talk to the internet.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that that's the way to go. Get one nice machine and have a whole bunch of virtual machines running in it. And then if one of them does something stupid, you could just turn it off.
Whack it with a
Containerize it.
replacement.
Containerize it. You don't get access to nothing. So, yeah.
Well, it's pretty sad how much you gotta monitor it because all your stuff's reporting on you now on levels that it should be illegal, but nobody reads the fine print and people aren't pushing back, and it's free to use, so you can't complain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have I have two Roku TVs, and I know they do the same thing your Samsung does. They phone home every
Oh, Roku's horrible.
yeah. They phone home all the time.
What drives me nuts, and I was like, I really liked Roku until about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. They just don't bother to update their software, or make it backwards compatible with their stuff any longer. Their concept model for the last several years has just been every December they roll out a new update. If your stuff doesn't work with the last year's worth of updates, too bad. It just this version and older doesn't work anymore. So you have to either keep your stuff rolling updated, which in some cases is not beneficial to the users,
Yeah.
especially if stuff deprecates or somebody stops developing for it. Because that's what like got me off of MB. Is because MB stopped doing their LXC container that I was hosting on on Proxmox or whatever. And because when they forked it, they Proxmox or whatever it was on top of went to Jellyfin.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no longer an LXC for the other, so it was like, well, just SOL,
Yeah.
or have to switch to Jellyfin.
Yeah. I don't
And
I don't have like a huge problem with the Roku machines, or the TVs that I've got. The only thing is they can randomly change your icons, and that bugs the crap out of me because I get used to it being one way, and that's the way I like it, and I can't go back. I can't
oh
make
yeah,
it the
well,
way I like it. It has to be the way.
they have it, and they got so much pushback here. Like, I don't know, back in March or May or something like that. That because they updated my TV and like half my shit disappeared, drove me nuts. They redid their whole splash screen to where it's almost 80% ads.
Yeah.
Drove me absolutely insane because like I don't want all this crap. I use this thing for two things. It's my Jellyfin server, and I watch Crunchyroll because a friend of mine lets me use his account. I'm like, because he's got like one of those multi-user versions or something. Um, and here like 2 months ago, the TV finally updated. It went back to the classic mode, and now there's like had this tutorial thing on how you could customize the home page now. I
Really?
just haven't sat down and gone through it, but I was like just happy it went back to the original and got rid of 2/3 of the junk.
Let's see. I did not get that. I only use my to really I only use it to play Nintendo Switch and maybe watch some DVDs.
Yeah.
But I don't have all the ads either. I don't have a bunch of ads. I have
No, this is what really irks me off. Because that update, and this is where it did it to me, is because that old update back in March. I now have to have internet to use my television.
really.
Yes. I cannot watch my own Jellyfin server hosted locally
Without
because
internet.
it couldn't talk to the internet. Because as long as it couldn't phone the internet, it wouldn't function. And I was like, that's a pile of...
Hey, Barry, I think your microphone is rubbing on something.
Do what?
His microphone, are you getting that rubbing sound?
No.
Let's see. I hear like a fan and...
Yeah, I got my fan going. That would you be hearing that from me? Here, I'll mute.
Yeah, it's coming for you.
Yep.
It's the fan, I bet.
No biggie.
Now, this is a fan in one of your computers, or this is a fan?
A fan.
Desk fan that's blowing on him because it's probably warm.
Yes. It's the fan under my desk is what it is. It's blowing it air up.
So you got to keep your feet cool, or what?
No, it actually seems to work really well. It just blows up and comes around the desk. So, but it's I don't know how hot it is in here. It's at least 84 because it's 84 outside, so it's hotter than that.
So, Alt Fiber changed something on their little TV pucks, which are kind of like a Roku knockoff, and they took away like half the channels, and then it started displaying Pluto channels, so they make you look like they didn't take away all those channels, right? Because
Right.
from like 1,000 to 2,500 now is Pluto channels, but Google has blocked the installation of Pluto. So
Really?
even though you can see all those, you can't watch any of them because you can't install Pluto because the device has been disabled for age verification.
Really?
And it's like, this is dumb as dirt. So it's like all these channels, I can't watch anything on the TVs on these stupid pucks because or Google Android or whatever is blocking the app installation. Um, and then
Well, gee, I didn't realize you were that young, Barry.
oh yeah, well, and that's they took all. There used to be like 150 music channels, and that's been removed too. And now it's some music app, and the music app's not installed either. And they're bitching about not having enough memory because of all the cache that the recording of everything. And I was digging into all this stuff. These stupid little pucks have camera in them too. So they're filming the room and transporting it back like a Amazon or a smart TV. So
I've got I've got an Amazon Fire Stick. It's an old one.
yeah,
I tried it not too long ago and it was still working. It still actually got updates. I just
updates that keep working, but some of the apps they're like quarantining off certain apps to try to force you to buy newer, I guess, or what. But I was like, I really don't understand the alt fiber. I've been meaning to take one of these stupid machines in to the store and just bitch them out because for what the parents are paying for television on that, and it's like, well, we had it. There used to be like 400 and some channels. You had on-demand watching. You could watch about any channel you wanted. If you were half hour or 2/3, or even if there was like a minute left of the show, you could start the show over. Like 90% of that is gone.
Hmm.
Like you can't back them up more than 20 minutes now. You can't start 2/3 of the channels over any longer. Like CBS has pulled their on-demand. I said, and we're down from like 400 and some channels to under 200 channels. And then they put up Plex and Peacock to make it look like there's all these channels still, but you can't watch them because you can't install the app anymore to watch the channels.
Yeah. We were given a Fire Recast box about 5 years ago. That was really pretty handy for over-the-air recording and stuff. And then Amazon decided not to support the TV schedule. So it'll work great if you can record something, but you can't record anything because you can't get a schedule.
Can't pull a schedule. Yeah, they want you to pay for that subscription for the interface to the TV guide now.
Well, I don't see that it's particularly valuable anymore. It's disconnected, sitting by the side of the case.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got an older Roku, and it used to pull the TV stuff like that, and now it doesn't do it anymore at all. So I don't know if the site that used to provide that, or if they used to scrape TV Guide and TV Guide went out of business, or what. I never dug into it very much, but it's just like it's kind of pointless. You got all these channels, you don't know what anything's going to be on any of them.
Yeah. The machine downstairs has got a tuner card in it, and I can get information about what's going to be on local digital channels through the local digital channels. So I can build something on it, but it is not nearly as convenient as the stuff that we had on the Fire Recast. So I really don't end up using it for much of anything.
Yeah. Make all their products crappier.
Yeah, my Roku is still getting a guide from somewhere. I don't know if it's pulling it over the air or if it's pulling it from the internet, but all my live channels have what's going to happen, and all their stupid Roku add-on channels tell me what is coming up. So I don't know.
I'll say I don't even use for any television anymore. Like I said, I watch Crunchyroll and my Jellyfin server. So
well,
I don't even know what any of the other features on mine do anymore.
I don't really watch TV either. I've got, and up until like today, I tried Pluto just to see because you were talking about it, and it still worked.
Oh yeah,
But I've
that's
got
everything I've read on the forums. It works fine if you had installed it year and a half ago.
previous.
So somewhere
Interest.
Google has either flagged it as malicious software or part of their age coding in the USA. They had when I click on it now, it says the developer has pulled the install file for age verification,
Interesting.
and it's like, well, that's weird. But then I was like reading on Reddit, and people are bitching that that Android has flagged it as an unsecure app and has pulled it from the Google repository. So
Huh. That's interesting. I mean,
so that you can buy your because you can watch TV for free on Pluto, but without
yeah.
an account. But on all the others, you need to create an account or pay a subscription. Like
Actually,
Peacock and
Pluto
Nuvo and
Pluto has started requiring an account now too.
well, it doesn't force you. You can opt out. At
Yeah,
least on mine. But
you can opt out, but you get like a third of the channels or something.
I've never noticed any difference. It's just you see the same three freaking commercials every commercial break
Every single time.
like, and I'm usually just watching reruns if I'm ever on Pluto anyway, so I really don't care because that's like 24/7 either Star Trek or Stargate.
Right.
So it's like whatever.
I think I have a brilliant solution to this. It just came to me. Barry, that video you sent with the guy in China looking at all of the AI devices for welding, and all of the ladies there at the sewing machines with the GoPro cameras feeding into AI to program an automated sewing system. I think all of us should put on our GoPros when we're trying to find something on the TV and then feed it into AI.
Probably could.
Yeah.
There's a book, I don't know if any of you guys have ever read, called Snow Crash. And
Yeah.
the premise of that is like so many people walk around with basically GoPros on them and they're like live news feed telecasters.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like anything that's actually happening.
Yeah.
People strap their cell phones right on them. Okay. That was weird. Huh. I just had a hard drive unmount and mount itself.
Firmware update.
I doubt it. I'm on Linux. Pretty sure I would have to tell it to do that.
I don't know. Microsoft doesn't ask anymore. They bricked one of my computers.
Microsoft is so
Well,
good.
there's a solution to that.
Yeah. Don't run Microsoft anymore.
But Microsoft is your friend and they want to fix it for you.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right.
They're going into one of those.
It's fixing it like having your cat fixed.
Yeah, well, the last thing I saw from Microsoft 2 or 3 weeks ago, we're aware of all the problems and inconveniences, and we promise to fix it. Please don't leave us. Worried that people are jumping ship and going to Mac or Linux? Are we?
Let's say, Linux is. There's something I was watching a little while ago. It only was a week or two old, and they were talking about from like 2 months ago that Linux has grown to where it's twice as large as Apple now, and it's growing drastically faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still pretty small in the market share, but it's
Well, that was
getting there. It's
saying it's over 5%. It's like the way they were kind of talking is it's climbed to almost 7% now. So that's not the small little 1% it was a couple of years ago.
it's true, but it's still tiny in the
You're
Yeah.
talking about desktop only.
Yeah, that's the other flip side you got to realize too is like Windows 11 is now below Windows 10 again. So
right. Yeah. Yeah, I went to an auction 2 or 3 days ago, and I should have stayed because the computers that they had were going to end up going really cheap. But I got tired, and I went home. But all the machines, they were all sitting waiting for somebody to put all their credentials in and set everything up and everything, and it was Windows 10, and I was like, oh, that's the way to do it.
No. Vicente.
Vicente's
Oh,
here.
Art,
hello.
Anything new, Mr. Vicente?
No, say hello, Mike
hello.
and Leroy, and that's it. Barry
Hi,
in black,
Vicente.
Barry in the tunnel,
Yeah.
black.
My monitors probably have more cameras than I have hooked up.
What's going on?
We're talking about how Microsoft is going to solve all of our problems.
Moving from Linux.
Well, all of the Microsoft is going to solve all of our problems that they created to begin with,
Okay.
and then add a few more.
We're so sorry. We're so sorry we screwed this up massively.
In order to avoid seeing this message, always shut your machine down properly.
Please
Yeah.
don't leave. Yeah. Please don't leave us. We're Microsoft and you can't leave. I don't know.
The Chinese will start to give away the Symphony operating system
As
that
I
they
say,
create from scratch. I think.
I would say they've got an OS that they've made. It's starting to get pretty good, from what I understand.
Yeah, yeah. I read about
What's the
it.
name of the OS?
Symphony. Symphony. I think. They start the operating system when they was prohibited in United States. This is Huawei, I think. No, Huawei. They were removed from the telephone market in USA, and they decided to make their own operating system to replace Google in their phones. But they designed it in a way that the operating system will work also in personal computers. So we are 5 years after that. I suppose they have a very good operating system.
And say the last time I looked at it, it's been a couple of years. It was like a distro of Linux, basically.
Okay.
It hadn't really caught on yet, but I was like, by now I'd wager it's gotten pretty window-like. And the other flip side too is they were
But
manufacturing their own processor now too, so they can't.
but
be,
Windows like is the front end, right? The back
probably still some
It's
version of Linux.
based in Linux. Okay. They combine both worlds, actually taking the best of each one, huh? I think.
Well, I saw in the last couple of weeks that I think it was Steve posted about a new chip that was being put out. Um,
Okay.
and I didn't quite understand what's the applicability for us. Is that something we can use? I thought it looked like it was,
Uh,
yeah,
it's a new
microprocessor.
ESP32 is a new one. It's faster and it can run AI models in itself in the memory. Leroy and I use the ESP32 a lot,
Yeah.
but this new one is practically double the performance. They changed the CPU from their proprietary one to uh, RISC-V architecture, so will be faster. I hope it will be cheap, but there is already a board, but I don't like it. I rather want the small, the tiny breadboard friendly boards, but it's interesting. A lot of power in a very small package.
The
The specifications that were listed were fairly impressive, definitely. Over 3.1 over 3 or 31 over 3. But I just didn't know what type of things you would be using it for. It's certainly not a, a motherboard uh, like a CPU for a desktop or anything like
No,
that.
no, no. It's an embedded system devices to make small devices, maybe home automation, maybe industrial automation, maybe kind of Alexa interface. You can talk to it because it's very fast to process, speak. Uh, for me, it's great because I have a lot of projects that use a lot of processing, uh, mainly video, color identification, and video and stuff. Maybe it will be really fast now with this new one. Let's see. I think it will be very popular with the large language models. You know, to have image identification or uh, speaker identification. I don't know.
camera.
It's always good. This is the new born, or is
Yeah, this is the 31, the S31.
okay? Okay, uh-huh.
Um,
The camera and display. Okay,
you can get it without that, but
they have hardware to drive the displays and the cameras, so it's faster and it has like modules to deal with the camera and a module to deal with the display. So you still have the power of processing then because part of the microcontroller is using the camera and the display without interfere with your software.
yeah.
So it will be very powerful.
So, so this says that the dev board has the ESP31, ESP32, S31, and then for the LCD driver, it's using ESP32 S3.
Okay.
So it's co-processing. My problem, Expressive has stuck with the name ESP32, probably because
Yeah.
it's very, very popular.
Yeah.
This is an entirely different kind of beast than a
Yeah.
ESP32 than what we're used to or thinking about. It's an entirely different kind of thing. Um,
Maybe we can use the April tag recognition on it. You know,
yeah,
maybe they have the power to run the open
Open TV.
TV. Yeah,
Yeah.
open TV.
So it's this is that
Besides,
M5 stack tab 5, and it's got an ESP32P4 in it, which is an entirely different beast. It's another RISC processor,
yeah,
and it's got a little C3 or a C6 to handle the Wi-Fi. So
okay,
the Wi-Fi gets offloaded
yeah.
to another microcontroller.
Well, this new one has the Wi-Fi included, right? The Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi.
I believe. Let me see.
I read the mail
I think
from
it's
Steve. I think
the S3 is a general purpose 2.4 gigahertz, Wi-Fi 6 compatible Bluetooth. Yeah, it's got threads and Zigbee built in,
okay.
and so it sounds a lot like they've taken a P4, which is in this, and
And
the C6, and combined the two together.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think so.
So you get it all in one package instead of two separate packages.
Let's see how expensive it will be.
Surprisingly, this wasn't horrible. It was still 60 some odd dollars, but that's not horrible. And I got a Macintosh emulator running on it.
Okay. Wow.
See if you could actually see it. Oh no, it's too bright. It's way too bright. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, when you put back, it's easier to see. Close to your face, you know? There, more or less.
Hey, there's an error. Why didn't it find the SD card?
On a smoke break.
Okay, that's cool. And a testament to how little processing power Mac OS actually needed.
Yeah, it's emulating like a 6480, I think, or something like that.
6840 or
6840.
68040.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. And it's fast. It's it's amazingly fast, and we're on the desktop pretty much. And they've embedded the touchscreen, so you don't need a mouse. Though I think you could plug a mouse into it and make it do stuff. I can't see what I'm doing. This was not my project. This was something I saw on Hackaday, I think, and I was like, "Oh, that is so cool." Vicente's going to want this.
No, I'll be back in a minute.
Well, I don't know whether you guys ever look at Matthias Wandel. You shaking your head there, Steve? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He reviewed, I think within the last couple of weeks, another processor that he had been given for evaluation. He was able to get in and look at the individual cores, the slow cores, the high capacity ones, and everything else. And I didn't quite understand how he was able to get in and look at those. What software he would have been able to use to do that.
Like the software
Yeah,
comparison. Yeah, there's software tooling out there for that. I don't know what it's called, but I've watched several videos on it in the last few weeks of them people showing the performance difference between the high energy cores, the soft core. Like, so Intel's putting like 2 or 3, 4 different kinds of cores in their CPUs now. So like they say they're like 22 cores, but then they're like, yeah, 4 of them are real cores. 6 or 8 of them or something are high efficiency cores, and then a half dozen or 2 or 3 low voltage, like back end monitoring. It's really weird. I don't know what all Intel's done, but because I haven't really looked at that. But I was like, he had benchmarks for like doing AI modeling, which cores you want hosting what, and this and that, depending on what kind of jobs you're throwing at things, and they're able to do a breakdown. It's interesting. Kind of disturbing too, because it's like you're still going backwards, right? Because nobody still really has built to take advantage of multi-cores well enough that Microsoft's, breaking the chips out to basically chips inside of chips for different job tasks.
I hate how they force you to change your hardware when they change the operating system. When you change from Windows 7 to 10 or 11, your computer doesn't work anymore because doesn't have enough cores. Crazy cores, cores,
Cores.
cores.
Yeah, I just don't get the whole. I don't know. So I kind of get having some efficiency cores. So, and this is probably all coming out of legislation out of California the last 15 years. And if anybody's paid much attention, but they're requiring computers to have an idle wattage consumption that drops like 90% in order for them to still be sold in the state.
Oh,
And they've done this with monitors. They've done this with power supplies. They've done this, and that's half the reason why everything costs half a freaking leg, because everybody's had to gone back in and re-engineer.
It's not just California. The whole West Coast.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
it,
most of the laws originated out of California.
well,
We
that's
battled with this, and like 5 or 6 years ago, where I was working, and in digging through that, I came across the laws where they were banning monitor sales unless they could drop down to like 4 watts in like sleep mode or something like that.
yep.
And the developer, or like the hardware designers, was like, you got to be kidding. There's no way to get that low without putting in a whole new set of circuitry design.
I know 4 or 5 years ago, Dell said they weren't going to sell some of their powerful machines in California because there was no way they could even get close to what they wanted.
Well, that's to say, the laws that they're throwing out there are just, they're bonkers. And they have been for going on a decade. They're just not weighted in reality on some level. I understand saying, hey, you want to push and improve things, great, but to put hard limits of saying, hey, you need to drop 90% of your power consumption by next summer, go. Yeah, just companies can't turn around that fast.
Yeah, you can put a timer in there that shuts the machine off 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We're talking about Microsoft now.
Yeah. Well, and that's some of these companies are told happily to go along with it, and it's like, but that's part of the reason why computers have stagnated is it's like they're becoming super more power efficiency, but their crunch compute power has drastically dropped off on some things, and basically we're all running on, you know, laptop lightweight efficiency chips now instead of like Xeon brute force crunch power. But at the same time, there's smaller form factor, or what the nano is now, 2 nano or something. So they can eat a lot less power, and they actually are crunching fairly well. So I don't know. It's interesting. The whole market's just kind of weird. At least to me, it seems like.
Yeah,
Things,
I don't have anything that really pushes any of the machines to struggle. I guess comparing photographs for duplicates, if you get 36,000 photographs and you want to go through and say, okay, how many of these are similar to 84% of each other? That takes a couple of hours. But it's
How long would it take you to sit down and spread them out on a desk and do it?
well, since they're in digital format, I think that would be kind of difficult. Uh,
A couple of hours, I'm sorry, that's nothing. I'm going to bed.
yeah. See you tomorrow. Let me know.
Yep,
yeah.
that's like my robot mower. It's working on the front yard right now.
Yeah.
Well, I've been looking at a lot of the new AI stuff. I don't know if you guys have noticed or seen. It shifts so fast. It's ludicrous to try to come up or keep track of. But I guess the new shade of the day is that they have revamped how large language models work in a way that you can, like, what used to not be able to, like, used to have like a, need a server mainframe to run, right? You can do it on a laptop now. And some of the big models can run off a phone, because they have like mass crunched them down, and it's like a mixed mode now. So like if you're like you ask a question, instead of using the entire block of ciphers, it grabs the masters for what your question pertains to, and reduces the scan set to like 10 or 20 or 8 masters on that particular topic. So the crunch time and compute power needed drops off like 90%. And so you can run in like these 32 gig models in like 4 gigs of RAM. It's really wild. And but it's like at the cost, though. I mean, you're losing a couple percent accuracy. So like you don't want to ask these things like super complex questions, that need a lot of deep evaluation. But if like for general stuff or like general knowledge, like how to change the tire on my car, um, these models do perfectly fine. Kind of interesting.
Mike, this is your batteries.
Oh, okay. I still haven't found the ones that Steve was asking me for. They're someplace in the house.
I have this.
It's okay, don't worry.
This UPS for 5 volts, but I find out that you can change the output voltage changing these two resistors. So I recalculate the values to produce 12 volts because I need it for my RC controller. This one. Okay.
Nice.
The problem was that I left the batteries 2 years ago, and everything is destroyed in the broken pins, and there is no way to make it work again with new batteries. I clean and doesn't work. So I need 12 volts. My plan is to use this UPS here. I need to cut a hole to use this in the RC control. So I will be capable of control the hoverboard robot again.
Okay.
The problem with the robot was that there is an alarm sounding every second, and the problem was that you don't turn on your RC control before turning on the robot. It has an alarm because you must turn on the RC controller before the robot or the car or the plane or whatever you want to use. For safety reasons, they don't work until you turn on the RC. So my plan is to find a place inside the case to put this UPS. It has a USB-C connector for charging. So next week we will see if it works. Maybe I bring the robot to the library with the control, the remote control.
Cool.
Since you brought up RCs, I had a friend send me this.
This is the cheapest one, 45 bucks or something, but it's okay.
But linked the video, I guess. Wright Pat Museum's hosting a DARPA flight challenge next weekend, 6th through the 9th or something.
Okay.
$6.5 million worth of reward.
Okay, let's do it.
Wish I'd known about this sooner. It'd been fun to make something to try to compete, but
I've seen some other videos that were related to this. Fellow was building a drone with 8 motors and huge rotors, but I had no idea what it was.
yeah. There was a guy there at the Hive years ago that was building really large, like 8-foot things that were on 8 motors drones.
I'm sorry. I was just laughing. DARPA and family friendly are two words that I never would have ever thought I would hear in the same video.
Oh, DARPA's a fluffy.
I'm sorry.
You never watch half their competitions? They're very kid-oriented and STEMS programming.
Fine, but
Some of them.
Sounds more like a weapon
yeah, I'm.
thing.
So the drone has to be able to carry 4 times its weight. Okay.
For like 10 kilometers.
Well,
Yeah.
so we built a small drone, like a fly or something, and that
With a
doesn't
sugar-
weigh
A
much.
sugar cube.
So 4 times its weight should be pretty small.
Yeah, but small propellers are far less efficient than big propellers.
And the 10 kilometers will be like 100 for it.
Don't forget it's got to run the whole time too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the battery would be bigger than the.
we go to a gas engine.
You need a very good battery.
There was a one I watched a few years back, and the guys ran on a new technology. They just had a wire that ran out to it like a, I want to say a copper extension cord, but yeah,
Like a
'cause it
wire
had,
guided missile.
well, the wire was to provide power because there's no onboard engine. It was all done electronically like an ion lifter. Um,
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
but
Or
they just didn't have a power plant that can provide juice for its flight without a reactor core. Is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, all the power plants were too big for whatever it was they were doing or whatever.
Yeah, too much weight.
Too much weight. Yep. Yep. I've seen stuff like that.
But if you could, power one of those systems and it can lift 4 times its weight with more electricity, and it's allowed to, drag the extension cord around and around and around, loop to loop on the course. I pretend it can go a mile.
Yes.
I just think it would be a very intriguing entry.
See, there's got to be loopholes, right?
Well, say, well, this runs on wireless transmission, but you won't allow us to do it, so.
You can have the fiber cable. I use the Ukrainian drones. Oh, they can reach like 10 kilometers or 50 kilometers. I don't remember. They can go very far just with the nylon fiber.
Yeah. I say that they do that with some of these drones for steering them, so they can't be messed with for jamming and that.
Yeah.
And no spoofing GPS.
Yeah. They were talking about that the other day on one of the drones that they're using in Ukraine. And then if they get shot down, they blow up and throw graphite everywhere, and it fries all the electronics.
Here's a reason to go see it. The food trucks. The food trucks will be there.
Okay. Where will we be in Dayton?
Yeah. Is it actually at the Air Force Museum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you send a link or something?
There's
in the
a
chat.
link in the chat.
Let me open it.
I just clicked on it again and it's not pulling through.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm
There we
looking
go.
at it.
August 6th through the 9th. Huh. That's soon.
3 days. Maybe I'll go.
I'll say it's free. I thought it sounded kind of interesting. I'd be curious.
I will try to convince my wife. So Saturday maybe,
Yeah,
because the food.
because of the food.
Oh, and Flight Fest. Sweet.
Yeah. By the way, there is a flight event.
Chances of something hitting you on the head are pretty high.
Yeah, it says.
Oh, here's the list of the food trucks. There's the winner.
Yeah.
Squeaky wheel, cut above.
Squeaky
Cray,
wheel. Yeah. Spectators are encouraged to register in advance through DARPA to help organizers plan. I don't want.
Bring binoculars.
Yeah. I don't want to register anything with DARPA. Don't make me.
Too
I don't
late.
want to volunteer to be one of their guinea pigs. Come on now. We all are already anyway.
Yeah, well, I know, but I don't have to volunteer for it or do it willingly.
Will be some things interesting.
The DARPA website's advertising it too.
I'm curious if this is a typo. Northing Bunt Cakes. I think it's nothing, but maybe there's one from the Canada that's there.
Yeah, I think it's nothing.
I read giant sail RC aircraft, but it's giant scale.
I probably could get Patty to go because there's food trucks. She likes food trucks.
What happens if it rains? The flight competition is weather dependent.
I would think DARPA would prefer you to be able to handle a little rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea.
It's just a little rain. It's just a little wet.
Sideways hurricane with a still be able to do the obstacle course, you win, right?
Yeah. And don't drop your 4 times as big package on the ground.
They will do laps, 12 laps for the 10 kilometers distance. No. With payload, then fly 4 nautical miles. A nautical mile is 1.6 kilometers. Or close to.
Or 6,080 feet.
Yeah.
Weird stuff that I remember for no apparent reason.
The drones must finish in 30 minutes window. A 30-minute flight window.
Well, if they're expecting 100 plus, I can see why it's going to be an all-day, several-day event.
Kind of entertaining that it starts on Thursday. Should we have our group meeting at Right Pat?
That is a Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
I already got the room. Of course, this goes 8 a.m. to 8:30, so we could go up to Dayton, spend a few hours, and then go get the room.
Meet at the food trucks at noon.
Meet at the food trucks at noon.
Watch 4 or 5 contestants.
Yeah.
But the food is only Saturday and Friday, right?
Oh,
Oh,
is that,
that
oh
sucks.
man.
Vicente just
Careful.
ruined the entire day.
Yeah.
Just have to go to the cafe or the cafeteria or something.
Oh, you don't want it. The cafeteria at the Air Force Museum is
Dirty
expensive.
Yeah. I haven't eaten there in 10 years, but it was expensive then.
It's better to leave, go down the street, get food, eat your food, come back, and go back to where you were at the museum. So, all right. How far along did I get with my sign last week? Did I have
showing the time and quotes?
You changed the
Weather?
colors. Last time you changed the colors
No,
from
I don't.
green to another.
I don't think I changed the colors. Was I doing the MQTT stuff last week? Or the website? Did I have the website working?
You still have the date. Same
I know
date.
it's wrong because my microcontroller is turned off. So I'm guessing I didn't do the or have the website working. Let's boot up the controller.
Gilroy was here.
Oh, it's still updating. Oh, there it
Good.
goes. So I will share the screen. So I can take. Oh, it didn't share. Wait a second. There it goes. So I could take this and send a message and.
Beta you know, I was the representative of Beta in Venezuela when they start.
So I don't know if you heard it beep or not, but I just sent a message that said "Hello World," and now I have the ability to clear that message with either the button on. Too many wires. The button on the M5 stack can clear it, or I could clear it from the website. So I could go back over to the site and I could clear the priority message, or I could send a new priority message and it beeps to tell you that you've got a priority message. The priority message overwrites everything else over top of it. So I could clear it from the website and it starts right back to saying whatever was there, the message of the day and the jokes and the time. And basically I could do the same thing with that's not the right adapter. With MQTT, I've got a little ESP32 with a button that has a canned message in it. So I boot this up, I give it a few seconds to actually connect. And as soon as I hit the button, so the MQTT
Very cool.
So the button sent thinking of you, code complete. So I could set this at like one of the kids' house or the grandkids' house, and all they have to do is hit the button and it'll send the message to the sign. And I could still clear that from either the website or the button on the M5 stack, and it works pretty reliably. It also beeps. I don't know if you could hear the beep or not.
Yeah.
So after 5 minutes, so it only beeps. So if we leave this running for 5 minutes and don't clear it, it will beep again, and then update the sign again. And I've got the weather. There's no weather alerts right now, but the weather alerts basically do the same thing. They will, if there's a weather alert, it will become a priority message, and it will overwrite everything else until you acknowledge the fact that there's a priority message. So, a little bit of progress, I guess. You were a beta bright. You probably have all the documentation for these things.
Maybe somewhere. But we use a little bigger screen with three colors, using yellow, green, and red. The blue wasn't available at the date.
I've got one of those out in the shed. I just need to find the right power supply for it.
Yeah. I was the part. I was in the annual meetings in USA for planning new products for 3 years in the company. Yeah.
I should have just asked you.
No, but I don't have any documentation.
I spent, well, actually I didn't spend a whole lot of it. I didn't spend as much time as I could have because I used AI. But this uses like version 1 of the alpha code. And the only documentation I could find was like for version 2 and 3. So it works a little bit different. And apparently my sign that's out in the shed is also a version 1.
It's a very old one.
It's a very old one, yeah. Which I think I found at a thrift store for $2. They said it wasn't working, and when I looked, the power supply they had for it was like a 3-volt DC power supply.
Okay, no way.
And I'm like, it says right on it, 7 volt AC, like 3 amps. I'm like, I've got a 9 volt AC power supply that will work with it, but I put it in a box and now I can't find it.
I apologize. I meant to bring you one of those. I would bet that DC would work. It probably goes through a bridge, and because everything in there is DC.
Yeah, I know. The power supply for this one is DC, and it's the correct power supply for this sign. I tried my big sign with it, and it started the boot up. It got 3/4 of the way through the boot up and just kind of stopped and froze. I'm thinking there's not enough amperage with this little sign. It did try to boot though, so it tried. I really like Betabrite stuff. Their stuff's easy enough to use. that auction that I was at, let's see if I can find a picture of it. That auction that I was at, I think it was Saturday. I bought another sign. Yeah. I shouldn't have bought it. I looked at it very, very fast. It was hanging up in the window about 8 to 12 feet above us. And I looked and thought, oh, that's not that big. I pulled it. Yeah, I pulled it down. It's 6 foot. It's 6 foot by about a foot and a half. It's a big sign. It weighs about 40 pounds. It took 2 people to get it down out of the ceiling. And it's not a Beta Bright. It's a Signtronics, and I can't make it work. I can't figure out how to make it work.
Can buy this one for 50.
Okay. That's a 213. Is mine a 213? I don't
Yeah,
know.
213. See. Michigan, it's close. $20 USPS. Use it.
I don't need another Beta Bright. I technically have 3 of these things. 4 if you count this sign. Where's mine? That's a big sign. Look, it has a handle. Yeah. It took two people to get it out of the ceiling, out of the thing, and we only had
Are those RGB?
No, there's 2 red and a green.
Now, the blue wasn't in the first models. Blue LED was. This is the beginning of the 1990, 93 or so. The blue LED was very expensive at that date.
Oh yeah, they were $11 a pop.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, is the orientation fixed in the hardware of the sign, or can you stand it on end and run the letters vertically and up and down?
So from what I understand with the Signtronics, I think you can, but the Beta Brights I have, there's one orientation.
It's just one way.
One line, yeah.
One line, yeah. There's a top and a bottom, and that's the way. You can make the text scroll up or across or this way, or do some funky stuff, or down, or come in from one side or the other side, but you can't flip it like that. This is the orientation that this is, but the Signtronics, I don't know. I think you can flip this and do some other funky stuff with it. It uses proprietary software that if you ask the company, apparently they will send you the software. But it's not anything close to what the alpha software is for the alpha signs.
This is cheaper. This one.
Now, the characters that it displays, are those strict ASCII characters, or can you generate just, for example, a Chinese character? Could you send a Chinese character to it?
I don't know. This was an American company, you know. The guy who created the company was associated with a company that made the LEDs in China, so they can produce the screens very cheap because the they own the manufacturing of the LEDs, and in USA, the manufacturing of the screens. The design of the case was made in Italy. The cases was made by a company in Italy. I think also the molds at the date. This one, because the shipping is cheaper, maybe cheaper than the 213. This is a better one, but it's cheaper.
That looks like the sign I've got in the shed.
Okay.
So, um, I know from just playing around with this, I saw some weird characters come across the screen, but I don't think they were Chinese. I think they were.
Well, I just used Chinese as an example. If you were going to do, uh, my mind is just kind of floating around. If you were to look at the characters that are available to you for making up a letter, I'm
I
guessing.
I don't remember, but I think that you can design like eight characters by yourself with the matrix and put them like a character, but you create the matrix.
Yeah.
I don't know in this model in particularly, but we used to create uh,
Nope.
graphic elements combining a couple of characters or so on.
These are some of the special characters, like a U with a extra little thingy above it. That looks like a pound sign,
Yes, this
a
is for the
British pound
different
sign.
languages. Yeah.
So it looks like a 7x8 matrix.
It's 7x7. My sign is 7x7. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a yen sign, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some special characters in there, and like Vicente said, you can design your own custom sets, but I haven't figured out how to do it.
If you're wanting to get a capital A, for example, do you send an ASCII code to it, or do you send the eliminated pattern for the 7x7 matrix?
So
Cool.
so the software, the ESP takes, and I type in like "Hello World," it'll take that and turn it into the ASCII codes. So
Okay.
ASCII codes get shipped out to the sign.
The thing probably acts like a terminal and has control characters that turn on backlight or
Sorta,
highlight, whatever.
kinda. It's partially um, like your start of header and some of your other control characters. You use those, but then it's got its own escape mechanism to send special commands.
You also send in the message, you send the presentation mode. No, scrolling,
Yeah,
calibration, another, whatever.
yeah. There's like an escape sequence where you send an escape sequence and then tell it to change modes or whatever, and then go back to your message. It everything comes out. Basically, everything turns into an ASCII code.
Cool.
So you have a control over whether it rolls down, whether it floats across.
Yeah,
That's independent of the message itself.
yeah. So if you watch this long enough, and see how it kind of sparkled.
Yeah.
That's a transition effect. And then this one, just it's a what do they call that? It's not scroll. It's something else, but it stops. It's like a news ticker. It stops each line and moves up. And this transition is just a hold effect. And this transition, I don't remember. This is just the standard scrolling from left to right, or right to left. I'm backwards. But I've got several different transitions, and this one, that transition, it paints over top of what's already there, so you kind of get like a scroll kind of thing over top of what's there. And then there's those sparkly effects. That's a separate effect that you tell it to do over top of your letters. And then there's I could show you. As soon as I find my website. So I told it to flash. So that's a priority message that I sent, but I told the priority message, hey, you're really, really priority. Look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
So there's several different things, and then there's different fonts. I think this sign has, I finally decided that it has 3 standard fonts, and then you can send a code to make the standard fonts wider. So it adds 2 or 3 pixels.
Double side. Each dot becomes 2 dots
Yeah.
horizontal.
Yep. So there's 3 standard fonts, and then there's 3 wide fonts. So there's a total of 6 fonts, but the three standard fonts are really just pixels added to the fonts, if that makes sense. And I guess the larger signs have more fonts to them. The larger signs have like more of a fancy font and stuff like that.
I think
Now,
also have
do the larger signs have more pixels, or are they simply larger?
It depends on the sign.
Okay.
So they make they make very large signs now, but all the signs I've got, even this sign, even though it's 2 lines, the way it works, it really works like a single line sign. So you can't really tell it which line to go on. If you know,
space pad it.
Yeah, if you notice when
there is a space
when it scrolls,
line.
it always scrolls on the top line. There's no real way to tell it to go to the bottom line. But this was a cheap sign. This was meant for personal use. This wasn't meant for like other things. So my other sign is a single line sign too, and I think the largest font is probably 8 pixels. I don't think it's any too much bigger than that. But I think there's more fonts in it, and I know there's a couple other transition effects. There's also like fireworks and like a cherry bomb and some other stuff. There's a built-in message that says, please don't smoke, or one that's don't drink and drive, and it animates a little car that goes across the screen and crashes, and the driver goes flying out, and then it says please don't drink and drive, or drive sober, or something like that. But those are built in. They were built into the firmware.
No, they're not. You can trigger them, but you cannot user access and go around them and create your own.
So I did not. For the life of me, could not figure out how to design my own characters or my own animations. But apparently there is a way to do it. And I don't know. I sat and read the docs many times. Basically, I did end up finding a version 1 of the version 2 of the original documentation, which really helped. But as far as figuring out how to make animations and that kind of stuff went, I was just as confused as I was reading the documentation for version 3 and version 2 and version 3. I
don't have any ideas of how that would be useful. I was just questioning how the input goes in.
Yeah, so apparently you can, but I guess you have a piece of graph paper and you just kind of write it out on dots, and then you tell it which dot to turn on and off. And I was very confused by it. I just kind of went, this doesn't sound. There's also there's the sign treats everything like it's a file. So what you see right now is file A streaming across it. There is another file system that works in the background where you could like update counters and just whatever. And then you could have the file that is actually displayed pull that information from the background process, so that you could say 12 days without an accident or whatever, and then every day you increment that counter behind the scenes. Or you could increment it as soon as somebody has an accident, you could increment it to 0 and say 0 days without an accident without changing the overall message that's here. It just pulls that information from the background file system. I did actually get that working. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't know what to do with it. For my purpose, I was like, it's interesting. I don't know what to do with it, but it's interesting. It was easy enough to get it to work, but you've kind of got to tell it. You've got to tell the sign to allocate storage space to two different things. The sign only has 32K, so if you run into eating up all your memory, the sign just kind of freaks out and starts rebooting. So, it's an old sign from like 1997.
I'm not complaining about it being old, so I'm just curious.
It's a little less forgiving about some things than others, but it's old and grumpy, so.
So why?
Aren't we all?
All I could think of, though, as you're going through and talking about the number of days being accident-free, is Julie saying, I came home today from work and another day without a pizza party partly because of me.
Yeah. Well, this sign project, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Even though part of it still confuses me. But yeah. So according to the little sticker that's on the back of this thing, it's 9 volt DC but only 1.5 amps. That probably explains why why it wasn't powering the big sign. I think it needs at least 2 amps to power it. But what is this, Steve? Surveillance map. What?
If you were thinking of doing some spray painting,
Okay. Oh, all the flock cameras?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's more on Verity Parkway than I thought there was.
That gets updated pretty frequently too.
I knew about the one right on 2nd Street outside of the apartment. I mean, that's pretty obvious to see it. And I knew about that one. I don't think I knew about that one. Interesting. Open street map. Okay.
Wonder how close that comes to China's version.
You know, I've just gotten desensitized to the one that's right outside the apartment complex. Probably. It used to actually bug me that it was there, but I've driven past it so many times.
And I think that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah. I kind of can't avoid it. I mean, it's right at the entrance of the apartment complex. I guess I could never come home.
You can't come in the back way somehow or another?
There is only one entrance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And if I'm coming out onto a main street, pretty much anywhere in Franklin, there's at least one flock camera that's going to see you. And maybe 2 or 3. I know where several of them are. Oh, look, AT&T wants me to buy a phone. I don't want to buy a phone, AT&T. I'm perfectly happy with my phone. Not on the AT&T.
Who has access to the views of these cameras?
How much money you got?
Well, enough to buy a sandwich.
That's probably not enough.
Well, don't the local police departments monitor things?
I don't
Nope.
think they do. I
They're not
think
allowed.
that they request information from an area and may or may not get that.
Yeah, I've actually heard on the scanner a few times where the request has been denied. They want to look for something or whatever, and the request has been denied.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a Fourth Amendment violation for the cops to have direct access to them.
Yeah.
I was just viewing a settlement recently on YouTube where a red car was involved in a drive-by shooting, and they were looking for where the car went and picked up another model of that same, or another vehicle of that same model, but a different color. And the cops were tracking down the wrong car. And when the cop hopped out of the driver's door, he accidentally fired around through the wrong car. And so I was wondering whether there's real-time surveillance that's available for these cameras like there was in that particular situation.
So, like the Artemis program around Cincinnati, there's a dispatcher of sorts that has access to all the cameras, and he can direct the cops where to go. I would assume the flocks aren't quite live data like that, but they're probably quantized and can pass the information to the police. Usually they're required to technically have a warrant. Yeah, it's weird. And what I really don't understand is, so there's a huge lawsuit going on in Georgia right now, and the guy has him dead to rights because he was in another state, and they gave him a speeding ticket because somebody had spoofed his plate. And the company doesn't even operate in the U.S. that has control of the flock system, so it's such a cluster. It's yeah.
What I have heard on the scanner, Franklin has been decent, not great, but decent. So if they get a stolen vehicle report, they can look for the license plate, but the data is minutes old, and sometimes even older than that. So if you're traveling at 60 miles an hour, it could give you an idea that yes, you just passed this area, but you're not there anymore. You're somewhere else. I've also heard them try to use it to find like missing elderly people who are either a danger for themselves or others just because their mental facilities are gone. I've heard them use it for that. The one I heard where it got denied was something about a traffic wreck. They wanted to know if the camera could tell them who turned in front of each other, and that one got denied. And I'm like, okay. So
Yeah, that's a little odd.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. But
Several years ago, I was visiting my brother in Daly City. We crossed the Bay Bridge, and I had out a credit card. Julie was driving. I had a credit card. I had cash. I had coins. I was ready to pay the tolls. And there was nothing. There was nothing at all. And when we got home about 2 weeks later, I got a bill in the mail. Apparently, all the cars that cross the Bay Bridge, their license plates are photographed and processed and billed for the toll.
Yep. Instead of having an employee.
No employees. There wasn't even a sign up saying what the toll was or that you would have your
Notified. Yeah.
recorded. No. And you're in public on a large bridge, so it's not like, oh gosh, they've invaded my privacy. But I was just really surprised that the whole thing was automated.
I got one of those years and years ago going through Chicago. I guess I was on 80, which is toll between like South Bend, Indiana and Chicago. And it was one of the ones where as you go by, you basically just toss your change in a funnel along the road. And I didn't have quite enough change, so I got a bill for like 24 cents. It was 79 cents to go through or something, and I didn't have that much, so I tossed other change in. On using flock cameras to find lost elderly, many a times I have told my children, if they ever don't know where I'm at and I should see my name up on the highway, I will come back and find them. If I'm lost, I meant to be.
When Julie and I had RSV a couple of weeks ago, I was looking up the information regarding that virus, and it said it affected the young and the elderly. And it went on to describe me, and I discovered that I'm elderly.
Oh, gee.
I'd file a complaint, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't complain if that's their definition.
You feel violated. I mean, it's a lawsuit. You can get people in jail for that.
Well, this is an aside, and it's purely humor. I was in Paris, Texas, probably 20 years ago, and I stayed over the weekend rather than return home because by the time I'd fly back here and do anything and fly back down, I might as well just stay there because my time here in Middletown would be very, very short. And so I went over to a restaurant very close to where I was staying. And the restaurant was empty. They had a serpentine line, and I get up there, and this I will describe her in terms that I use. There was this little girl there behind the counter, and she says, "Well, sir, the way this works is you pick out your meal and your sides, and then you go across there, and then you pay the person on the other side." So I walk across, and I get my sides, I put my order in, and when I get to the cash register, she's over there at the cash register. And I say, "You look awfully familiar. Have we met before?" And she starts to explain, "Well, sir, I'm the one that was over there on the other side explaining to you how the system worked." And from the back of the kitchen, somebody goes, "Honey, he's just joshing you." So my friends that had returned to Houston came up, and I was telling to them, they said, No, she was just trying to help out that confused elderly man. Uh, but she didn't realize that I was putting her on.
Yeah, that sails over a lot of people's heads anymore.
Yes.
Did to change the subject back to Flock, do you see how many cameras Middletown has? Good Lord. Middletown has Flock everywhere.
So how do you tell if the flock?
That D-Flock map.
Yeah, they're pretty obvious cameras.
I knew Middletown had some. You could see them, but
There's one not too far from you, Art.
Where's that?
I had been looking and then I moved. Hold on a second.
Flock cameras. Flock cameras look like this.
So they all have solar panels?
I think the majority of them do. Yeah.
There's one on Dorjean Lane, aimed away from Beechwood.
I think I know of some projects that might need solar panels now. Maybe some little cameras.
As I say, they smack them down everywhere. There's even stop signs and stuff they put solar panels on now, and it just makes me go, man, I'd like to have some of those.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
projects, because like those panels are not cheap, and they throw them up everywhere. The advantage though is the flocks aren't federally funded, so
It's locally funded.
I mean, they
isn't it?
are.
well, no, they're not allowed to be. That's a third-party company. They
Who's
rent
paying to put them up?
some company out of Switzerland, and then they sell the access to them.
That's not
Whoever
Flock.
pays for the subscription. Now, what's ironic though is, especially if they put it in your property, though, due to American laws, you can file a Freedom of Information Act and have access so you can view what's on the camera on your property. But it might take you a few weeks or months.
Yeah. Flock. At one point, I don't know if they still do or not, but at one point, that was actually part of their marketing thing. Was if you are a property owner, have the Flock put on there so you could monitor your property.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say they're making money off of them, and from what the Fourth Amendment would prevent them from being taxpayer funded, from what I understood. But I said I haven't dug super deep into them and what all's done where everywhere, but because I was looking at this stuff a couple months back because I slapped 7 of them around Bethel, and people were bitching about it because they put it right up in the dude's yard beside his driveway, and the guy was like, "What the hell is this?" And I didn't understand it, how they could legally slap that on your property without notification, but evidently from some night, or was it 48 or something law in Ohio, that they're allowed to drop a camera wherever they want.
Well, I noticed that this was probably 6 months ago. Ring doorbells cameras, some of those were inside of people's houses,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and they had
That's
signed an
it.
agreement, and the cops could get that video from inside your house without a warrant and without notifying you. And I thought, that is not going to happen.
yeah, that would be a violation technically. But
Well, depending on what you signed off
I was
with
gonna say
Ring
it's
people.
probably in your user agreement for the Ring to have an account have feed to the camera. Nobody pays any attention to the. It's
Yeah.
like your phone, right? You accept whatever the EULA was for the new patch, If people actually paid attention to what's in some of that, you'd be, phew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you can only read about 50 pages of that legalese before you just.
Yeah. Well, and that's some of them now. You're talking 15, 2,000 pages. So because they do amendums and there's hot links to other pages, and nobody ever bothers to look at any of that. Some of the subtitles. I was watching a guy talk about this stuff the other day, and what people are agreeing to nowadays is beyond even reasonable. If anybody ever actually read any of it,
Yeah.
the companies would be out of business, like Microsoft, and
My
it's ludicrous.
my youngest kid, he had a Ring doorbell in his house, and I need it inside. I need to watch the dog. I'm like, then get another camera. Why are you putting a Ring inside of your house? That's crazy. But he
Well,
thought it
that's
was a good idea, so.
almost all
On
these
that,
cameras are, linked to a cloud account of streaming of some kind.
What is
these little a Tapo
Yeah?
PTZ, pretty decent little camera. It's pretty easy to set up, very easy to connect to Home Assistant, and once
Okay.
you do that, you can block it from outbound traffic.
Doing whatever, huh? Nice.
Oh, there's the. I've just pulled up the one right outside my bank in the median.
Yeah. They're everywhere in Middletown, apparently. If you go out, look out near the hospital. There's probably 10 out there. Anyway, I hear Patty coming with food. I think I'm having lasagna tonight.
Ah,
And it is
congratulations.
7:30.
Wait
Or
for all you
7:30.
Roy's.
It's 7 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, come on over. It'll be gone by the time you get here, but
Ah,
you're more than welcome. All right. We are in person next week. So I hope to see everybody next week.
At or not at, right,
Take
Pat?
care.
Do what,
Have a
Barry?
good week.
At or not at, right, Pat?
Not at Right Pat.
Oh,
At the library. All right. I'll see you guys later.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.